You're good.
All right, we are back for take 2 on a Tuesday night, right? Yeah,
Yep.
Tuesday night. All right. Oh, as always, got to read through the sponsors again. Get done with this show. Say we're done at 7 o'clock. I think the Lumber Lounge and Garage with Ben's Racing with Shane and Snow. I believe that comes on at 8
Yep.
Central Time. Go ahead and give them guys a listen. Check out some of their back episodes. We'll have to see if Shane's back on the show or not. He's been kind of busy racing and chasing his kids around. But anyways, then we got Hero Haven. Got to thank them for everything they do for the first responders, the vets, the hero of the night up at USITS each week. Heartland Hardware and Appliance in Brandon, South Dakota, George and Hayward in Iowa. They got a big sale going on right now. I think I saw up in Brandon. Big old overstock sale or something they called it. Fulkins Brothers Trucking for everything they do for us and for racing. And of course they do haul livestock. So give them a call if you need some hogs and cattle moved around the country.
And they haul tow.
And they haul me. So they'll haul anything. Kaiser Aluminum Wheels down here in Orange City, Alton area. Be Wiser by Kaiser. They got wheels for pretty much everything that goes around a track. Even tractors, pulling tractors.
Yep.
So Turn 2 Lodge down at Knoxville. Not a lot of races to go see at Knoxville right now, but the museum is open, I believe, all winter long. Stay across the street from the museum. Placerville Speedway, definitely off season, had a great year this year. Mother Nature was pretty good to us most of the time. Little hot during the High Bank Nationals, but we survived it. S2F, start to finish, excuse me, another streaming service. Power Eye, Port City, lots of other races. My Race Pass, if you don't have it now, you got to get it by next spring. If you're into racing at all, they got everything you could possibly want to follow, every track. Morning Sun Marketplace out in central Pennsylvania with Rick and Sue Fritz. Go check it out sometime. If you're out there, you can walk around for 3 hours and never see the same thing twice hardly. Mount Tabor Cabinetry out in central Pennsylvania again with Chris Fissel. Remodels, new jobs, give him a holler. He makes really nice stuff. I've seen a lot of pictures. Rapid Graphics in Rock Rapids. You need signs made. You need your cars lettered. Some of the guys maybe ain't thinking about getting their cars lettered and graphicked up now, but why wait? Get her done early. And then Hawk Wings in Jackson, Minnesota. You need a wing for a micro, a sprint car, they'll make her for you.
All right, here we go. Hey, we're back at Hoagie's Garage for take 2, and we were just in PA, and now we're going, in PA.
There you go.
And now we're going west to California, and Scott Russell. How you doing, Scott?
Doing pretty good.
That's good.
Out here changing an engine in a water truck, to get ready for the Hangtown 100.
Yeah, that's right. You got that coming up, don't you?
Yeah, on
we-
the 14th. I think it's 14th and 15th.
Yeah, we got midget racing to watch out in California yet. That's a good thing because our racing selections are getting less, bud.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you're getting to that time of year, everything's winding down.
Yep.
Scott, just so people know who you are, you're the promoter for, do you say it, Placerville?
Yeah, so I'm the promoter for Cammy and I both. They're the promoters for Placerville Speedway and the Sprint Car Challenge Tour out here on the West Coast, which is a regional touring 360 series.
Okay, give us a little rundown on your background into racing and how'd you become a promoter?
Cammy and I, we grew up in this little town, Placerville.
Hold on a second. When you say little, how little?
It's little. I mean, I think the population here now is probably, I would say, the town of Placerville is probably like 15,000 would be my guess.
Okay, see, we always have to ask that. When somebody says
So
little.
we're in a small town in Northern California. So when people think California, they think sun, beaches, and palm trees. We're not even close to that. We're in the foothills between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe, so we get snow a couple times a year and stuff like that. So it's just it's a small town, like I said, here in Northern California. This track here has been operating since 1965, and Cammy and I just got done with our 10th season. But we grew up in this town, and her part of her family worked out here. Her grandpa back in the day when John Pageant was the promoter here, was the blade operator. Her uncle used to race out here in multiple classes. I was out here with my dad. He had a hardtop car out here back in the day, and so we grew up out here as kids, and as we got older became fans, and then I started helping out a friend working on his sprint car out here, and then I decided I wanted to race, so I got into outlaw karts for about 4 years, and then after that I started a sprint car team myself and raced myself, and so I had a sprint car team. I started it in July of 2000, and I ran it all the way up until we took over the racetrack, so I sold it in the winter of 2015 because we took over Placerville Speedway starting 2016.
Huh.
And so, it's just, I had a sprint car team for that 15, 16 years or whatever, and I love the sport, very passionate about it, and the promoter that was here was John Pageant's stepson, Alan, and he had been doing it for a long time, was kind of burnt out, kind of started as a joke, and then he called me in that one off season and said, hey, I know we're joking about this, but it ain't a joke anymore, I'm serious, I want out. And so we kind of put something together, and here we are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Tell us.
This is where I raced, and this is, to go back on that, this is where I raced weekly, obviously, because I lived here. So you can call me the Mark Martin of Placerville Speedway. I finished second in the championship, I think 4 or 5 years.
I know exactly what you're saying because Mark Martin was my favorite driver. So I'm like, oh man, just let him. Oh,
Just one time.
One win there, but he was always fun to watch. So
Yeah.
but we're out here in Iowa, so we don't know a ton about the track. But what have you kind of done since you have been the promoter? When we watch on all the streaming things, there's been a lot of changes going on there, the way it looks to us.
Yeah, I think we've probably, obviously we're on a fairground, so that adds a little bit of a challenge, right?
Yep.
It's not private property where you just have free reign to do whatever you want and all that. Certain things have to be approved, but, we've pretty much touched every inch of this property by now. We've added fences and walls and grandstands, and I just built that big block wall on the back straightaway on the exit ramp there to terrace that area off to get some better viewing spots, to the racetrack, because our racetrack is kind of sunk down in a hole, so the pits are all above the racetrack looking down on it. The only thing that's level to the racetrack is the main grandstands on the front straightaway, so it's kind of a unique view looking at a racetrack. There's a lot of people that prefer to come to the pits and watch the races from the pits just because of the view you get looking down on the racetrack. But we've added, we've built new bathrooms. The list goes on and on. We've done a lot. The racing surface itself, I have not changed. I've just tried to get better at what I do because I do all my own track prep as well. So it's a quarter mile, high banks, oval. The banking here is pretty decent compared to other tracks. But all in all, it puts on, with what we've been doing, especially in the last handful of years, I've got pretty confident in what I can do with the blade and everything else. So, we've been putting on some pretty solid racing week in and week out.
So, little rundown how this year go. Did Mother Nature cooperate all right? Good crowds? How'd things go this year?
So all in all, we had a really decent year. Last season, not this one, the prior one, we had quite a few rainouts. This one we only had 2, and it's kind of unusual for us, with the way things have gone years prior. But all in all, we've had some, good racing, good championship battle in sprint cars. Our crowds were pretty solid. I mean, some of these weekly races that I've ran, I've been getting over 30 cars, 30 wing sprint cars.
Yep.
I've been getting over 30 on a weekly show. So it's actually gone really well. But we pour our heart and soul into this. I'm not saying other tracks don't, but I think people see, you know, the effort putting in here, and you know, every time they show up every week, you know, it's you know, the place is clean. We try to run a good, organized, smooth show, and I think people, you know, in the end, appreciate that. You know, I've said this to other people. I've talked about it at a promoters workshop. You know, people call us promoters, but you know, in reality, we're in the entertainment business. So,
Yep. Entertainment and caretaker.
Yeah, I mean, it takes everybody involved, you know. So, I'm also the one running my drivers' meetings on Saturday night. All the racers have access to me. I'm out there in the middle of everything, and you know, I think that makes a difference when they see you're out there involved and hands-on and all that. But you know, that's where it goes to, you know, number one, the racers got to come here and feel like, you know, they're being appreciated and you know, are coming here to race for something and getting a good racing surface and everything else. So you got to make sure they're happy, and the same for the fans and what they're spending in their entertainment dollar. You know, they got to feel the same thing. Otherwise, they're not going to come back. You're going to lose them, and once you lose them, it's even harder to get them back.
Oh, absolutely. And it's tough to make everybody happy all the time. I'm sure you run into that.
Well, I'm telling you, man, on Saturday night, I feel like I wear about 10 different hats.
Just got to remember which one you got on for which person you're talking to, I suppose.
That's exactly it. You know, it's just, you know, it's fun. It does get hard. It does become a grind, and you know, I'm at that point of the year where I'm over dirt and I'm over people for a little while.
Yep.
But you know, within a month, I'll be jonesing to get out here and get after it again. You know.
Yep. The off season always seems too long.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not gonna lie to you. There's, you know, I watch a lot of heat races at Placerville, and then at Placerville, then I have to watch the features the next day.
Yeah.
I just can't do that midnight stuff at home here anymore.
Yeah. What?
I mean, I don't know how you guys do it out there with, you know, racing and sports in general with the time change. I mean, it seems like you guys are always having to stay up pretty late to catch, you know, football or baseball or any of that, you know.
Yeah, it just depends how diehard you want to be.
Yeah.
You know, we sit here in the garage and we'll start out watching PA and Ohio, and we just work our way across the country, and we always got something on in California by the end of the night. But like I said, I don't make her much past the heat races usually.
And normally, all the A features like start at the same time,
it's incredible.
Except for California. Normally, we're pretty safe when it's in California.
But even that's happened before, though.
So, this is just, you know, a guy from Iowa. I'm just curious, what do you charge for a normal show, and then if the high limits or somebody come in, what are ticket costs out there to get in?
So my weekly show for an adult coming in the grandstands is $18.
Okay.
And then we have you know, junior prices and you know, veteran and all that type of stuff. But we do 18. The SECT, I think this year it was like, I want to say 23, and I want to say we also run NARC races, which is our regional 410 series out here. Want to say we charged 25 or 26 on those for an adult. And then high limit, I want to say the grandstand price, if I remember off the top of my head, was 40 for the high limit show.
Which I think is pretty standard there.
I think, Do they set that? I mean, I've never asked that question. Do they like the high limits or outlaws? Do they set their ticket price, or is that up to the track?
Well, we're a joint venture, so everything's kind of done together.
Yep.
So yeah, you talk about ticket prices and all that stuff as far as what you want to do and a pit upgrade and So Cammie handles most of the ticket prices. That's how we kind of separated. That side of the fence and all that is her, and this side of the fence is me.
Okay.
And so she, obviously we talk about everything, but she kind of handles everything on the grandstand side, and like I said, I basically do everything on the racing side, and that's how our jobs are on race day and as well. So, but she works with most of them via email. Like I said, setting those prices. Plus, we have like a pit upgrade. So if you had a reserve seat in the grandstands, for a high limit show, you can pay an extra $10 and you have access to the pits. So if you want to come up in the pits and walk through and check stuff out and go back and know you have a reserve seat there that nobody's going to take. A lot of people take up that offer as well.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
A lot of them are starting to do that. I know
Yeah.
Jackson does that and so on. Sounds like a pretty fun place to be. We had a Gary Morgan's time in here, and he said they got a happy hour with driver meet and greets every race, live bands. Says it's an awesome place to go to the races.
So that's what we did. So like when we took over from the old promoter, he would open the gate at 3:30 and he would sell like pre-sale tickets for like 30 minutes. It was like maybe it was like 3. He would go from like 3 to 3:30, and then he would close the gate. So then these people would leave, and then they would go eat somewhere around town here or whatever, and they would write their name in chalk on the asphalt outside of like where their spot is in line to get in the gate when it opened at 5.
That is insane.
So I told Cammie, I'm like, we're basically telling these people to come here early but go spend their money somewhere else to eat.
Yeah.
Why don't we just open up early, offer a like a limited menu, and we'll have some like live music and do a happy hour and kind of entertain these people. And so that's what we started doing, and it just took off from there. I mean, we have live music every Saturday night and do this happy hour thing and open early, and these people come in, they go up, they get their seat, come down, they have a soda or a hot dog or a beer and listen to live music, and we usually bring down a car from each class, a sprint car and a pure stock or a late model or a mini truck or whatever we run in our point series. And so we bring them down to do autographs, during this time so they can interact with the driver and the fans and all that stuff. And we kind of switch those people out every week, and it's been great.
Yeah, and that's all included in getting, to go listen to the band and stuff. That's not buying another ticket or anything. That's all included.
That's all included in your admission when you walk in the gate. Your access to all that.
Okay. So you got two guys that like to eat. You mentioned, what's our food options if we make it to California for the live music?
So our cheeseburgers are off the hook. They're made as they're ordered. They're not just a bunch of patties fried up and thrown to the side and in a bun wrapped in foil. We make them to order. They're a fully dressed burger with cheese, lettuce, onion, tomato, Thousand Island dressing and the whole 9 yards on it. So obviously that's a staple at most tracks is a cheeseburger, but I feel ours is one of the best out here at any of the tracks.
You don't get many deluxes.
What's that?
You don't get very many deluxe. I call it a deluxe cheeseburger when it's got all the goodies on it. You don't get a lot of them at the racetracks.
No, most of the places we go, man, it's just a piece of cheese on a patty thrown in a bun wrapped in foil, and you're kind of, that's about it. So we just try to add a little bit more. We do our own hand dipped corn dogs. We do garlic fries. We do obviously hot dogs, Polish dogs. We do like a loaded tater tots with like pulled pork on it and all that stuff.
We really need to stop talking about food because we haven't eaten yet, and I am really getting hungry right now.
So what's on? We interrupted the loaded tots. What's all on the loaded tots?
So you got like nacho cheese, pulled pork, and whatever other dressings you want on there. You can have onions. You can have whatever they got down there that you want to throw on there. They even have chili if you want to eat, have a chili dog or a chili burger, whatever.
We really need to win the damn lottery, though.
Cammie's pretty good at side of it, and honestly, you know, that's where we try to make our money as promoters, because what comes in the front gate and what comes in the back gate with what you're giving back in purse and what you have in payroll and insurance and ambulance and, I mean, you name it, the costs are all there. Where we try to make money for ourselves, you know, is in the concessions and in the novelty. So one of the other things we created, because our food lines were kind of long when we first took over, and we're like, how can we address this? And so one of our windows on our concession building was set up as novelty. So that's where they sold all the T-shirts and all the little play cars and all that other little gadget stuff you can sell. So we ended up buying a trailer, and we moved the novelty into the trailer, plus it expanded our novelty because the trailer was bigger than that room. But we created an express lane there. And that express lane, all they do is stuff that's quick, you know, hot dogs, nachos, and pizza.
Okay.
And you can just crank the people through there and get them fed, and you know, that way, not everybody's waiting in those other lines just to try to get some of the other stuff. If somebody wants something quick,
sure,
they can go to that window, and that was a huge hit for us too. A lot of times that window outdoes all of our other registers, you know, because you kind of create a little competition between the kids and who can do how much at each window. And that express window, even though they're selling just basic stuff, like I said, you know, the stuff that's quick and easy.
Yep.
And we don't even have a fountain machine over there in that window either, because there's no room for, you know, that type of deal in there. So we just sell the sodas out of cans and stuff out of that window. But most weeks they're taking first place out of all the registers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're going to have your hot dog and your pizza, whatever, over there. That's what a lot of the kids are going to want anyhow. So
Absolutely.
Some parents going to go through there, get something fast for the kids, and
wait for themselves
to get the good stuff, it sounds like to me.
Absolutely.
And so we created a big shade structure down there too. So like when we first took over, when the sun's setting, it's shining on the back of our grandstand and right in the windows of the concession. So I bored holes in the ground and set steel cages in there and set J-bolts and stuff. And we built a steel framework where like a big shade screen goes over, and we shaded that whole area.
Oh.
And that made a big difference too for people standing in line for food. It created a totally different vibe for our happy hour with the music and everything else. It came out really well. And like in the summer when it's warm, we got a few of those porta coolers underneath there with misters on them, and pushing cold air through there with some mist and stuff like that. It just, everybody's a lot happier, you know, because they have a place to cool off and you know, get something to drink and eat. We added monitors down there, so if you are in line for food, you're tied into the live stream on the track, so you can see what's going on in the track. And feel like you're not missing something, you know, when you're in line. So you just got to think about all of this little stuff as far as the experience with the band.
See, inevitably, if I do sit in the stands and I leave to either go to the bathroom or get food, it'll be the most exciting race of the night, it seems like, in general. It's just how it works. You get up and leave and something happens.
Yeah. But
so we've tried to, you know, ease some of that anxiety, I guess you can say. Like, do I go now to get something to eat? What am I going to miss?
Yeah.
So, you know, they're seeing on all the TVs on the building, you know, what's exactly still going on the track. So when you're in line and you hear the crowd cheer, you're being able to see it as well.
Yeah,
perfect.
That's awesome.
And for those that are just tuning in, we got Scott Russell with us tonight. He is the promoter, blade operator, jack of all trades with Placerville Speedway out in California.
Absolutely. And this is kind of what I like about doing this podcast, is you're finding out different things that this track is doing. Maybe some other promoters need to listen and say, hey, we need to try this, you know, giving them ideas. So what were some of your biggest events this year that you had?
The high limit race this year was probably one of the bigger events we've had since Kenny and I've been here in the last 10 years. Like the Outlaw race we had the second year I think we were here. That was this high limit race and that one are really close to each other as far as overall attendance. I mean, we had people hanging in trees and all kinds of stuff to, watch the races. So, high limit this year, and honestly, it kind of caught us off guard. We've had, we had the high limit last year, and it was good, and we did the one again this year, and we kind of prepared the same, but the walk-up crowd that day was off the chart, and we got a little bit behind on the line coming into the pits, and so some people waited in line like 45 minutes, and so that was something that we knew we had to address going forward, and we just have to break our lines down a little bit different, and people that already have prepaid tickets, people that are paying with cash, people that are playing with a card, people that are coming in with a minor. The minor release takes the longest, and that was slowing things down. So we already kind of have a plan of how we're going to break it down for next year to make it a better experience as far as getting in. But high limit race, definitely was probably the number one event this year. Our 4th of July show every year is a really strong show, but we were part of that whole deal. I don't know if you guys saw it on the news back there as far as that big warehouse exploding and 8 people getting killed and all that stuff. We were part of that whole thing. So we raced on 4th of July, but we had no fireworks because they had a major failure in one of those warehouses.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. That was a bad deal.
That affected a lot of. Chico didn't have, Silver Dollar didn't get their show. Stockton didn't get theirs. We didn't get ours. A lot of cities, within surrounding counties didn't have a show because of it. But honestly, we almost canceled because I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go. We can't have fireworks. And normally we're standing room only. And we're like, you know what? It's on a Friday night this year, so people don't have to go to work the next day. Let's just go for it. Well, I'll give it to the fans. They showed up just like we did have a fireworks, like we were going to have a fireworks show, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And, I think people realized there was, lives lost, and it's not something you can sit there and complain about. It was an accident, and a very bad accident. And everybody still come out and supported the race and the event, even though we didn't have any fireworks at all. So, we were very proud and thankful of that.
Yeah.
Well, if they're like me, you go to the races and the fireworks are a bonus.
Yeah.
I didn't go for the fireworks.
Some of these people, they come out, that's their staple thing to go watch the fireworks because, we're the only fireworks, in this county on that night.
Yep.
And so, that's kind of a staple for people, and we just weren't sure how it was going to go, but, it ended up working out. So.
Yeah. What, I know you have one more race yet this year, but what are you guys going to do? Any changes for next year to the track or to the facility, or is it pretty much the same, or?
Each year we kind of pick a project to kind of get after and do. I got that back straightaway wall, and I built that whole thing myself. There's 160 of those blocks in there that weigh 4,000 pounds apiece.
Only the guy that put it in would know how many blocks there are.
Yes. And I built the fence on top of it. I ran the speakers. I did it all. Plus, me and a couple of my guys built the grandstands we added over there too. So that was a pretty big undertaking.
Oh yeah.
And so this off season, I know we're trying to get a big screen TV. We've been trying to work on that type of front to get something over by our scoreboard where people could see replays or something like that on a TV, kind of like what the High Limit brings with their series or the Outlaws or whatever. So that's one of the bigger ticket item things we're trying to work on and do next. I don't know if I'll have that by next spring, but it's definitely something that we want to work towards. And maybe we can get a few more bucks out of sponsors advertising on there or something
Yeah.
like that. So
It's for a fan. It's a super nice thing. I mean, we're spoiled with Husich. You know, they got 2 of them on the backstretch,
yep.
and
one on the sidewalk.
and one on the sidewall of the VIP booth too. So, you know, we're spoiled right here. We're what are we, 20 minutes from the track?
Yep.
So we're spoiled with our local track. But yeah, that'd be a major improvement to the place, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I mean, you have these goals and things, but I mean, I'm not. Luckily, we have another business besides this racetrack because, you know, it is such a roller coaster ride up and down. You know, there's weeks you're making money and then there's weeks you're not, you know, and you just got to ride that curve out. But,
Yep.
it's, you know, you have goals and you have visions of what you want to do. And we've met a lot of them, but there's always something, you know, and I feel I'm very hands-on with what I do, you know,
Yeah.
the wall across the top of turn 3 and 4. You know, I bladed all that out. I hauled all the rock in here, got it all flat. I set all that K-rail. I built all that fence too. So it just, if you're going to run a place like this, I mean, you got to be a jack of all trades, master of none. Otherwise, it's going to cost you even more to fulfill some of your visions, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I just don't have that kind of capital. So.
Yeah.
Just like changing the engine in this water truck, you know. I finally found an engine, about a week ago, and so me and another guy are swapping this engine out in this water truck so we can get this thing back going. And but if I was just to sit at home and hire somebody to come do this, you know, it's going to cost 3 times as much.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You need to get lucky and find some big business out there that wants to have a video board at your track. You know, it could be the Taco Bell video board or something, you know, like that.
And I will tell you, like, since Cammy and I've been here, the sponsors that, you know, we have at our facility have been great. They've been great to work with. We've grown each year with more and more. And, we're definitely, we've definitely been trending in the right direction as far as kind of growing each year and getting more exposure and getting more and more teams here racing with us and all that. So,
Yep.
that's all you can ask for sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, sponsors, you know, like you said, they're huge in all sporting events, but in the racing world, you know, from our simple little podcast, you know, we got sponsors. Every weekly racer's got sponsors. The track's got sponsors. You know, they're a huge part of everything.
Oh, I mean, even when I had my race car, I mean, I couldn't have done what I did if I didn't have the sponsors I had. You know.
Yep.
I mean, the last probably, gosh, I'm trying to think when I had Don London as a sponsor, and he owned Capital Ace Hardware in downtown Sacramento, and he used to sponsor a guy out here racing that I used to race against, and that guy quit racing, and then Don really didn't have a reason to come to the track, and it was, one off season because I was in the trucking world and construction before. And it was a winter, so the friend had a towing company. He said, hey, come drive a tow truck for me for the winter. And I ended up towing Don with his Dodge pickup. The transmission had gone out. And we're over at the transmission shop doing the paperwork, and he saw the name on my shirt. And he looked at me and he goes, you Scott Russell races sprint cars at Placerville? I go, yeah. He goes, I'm Don London. Capital Ace Hardware. I used to sponsor Sean. I'm like, hey, how's it going? We started talking. He says, I'd love to be back out at the racetrack, but I just don't know anybody. And from that day forward, that man took care of everything on my team that had anything to do with an engine.
Wow.
And I'd send my motor in to get it freshened up, and it may need pistons or rods or whatever.
Yep.
It's $12 grand to get my motor back from Ryder, and he said, just tell me where I got to mail a check, and
Dang.
If we didn't have people like that,
Oh yeah.
love the sport like we do, none of us could do it. And the same with this track, with what we do with sponsorship, and what we give back to the racers. nobody out here is doing what I do in a champ fund as far as, you know, local Saturday night racing. You know, I have 4 divisions I take points out in, and that's 360 sprint cars, pure stocks, limited late models, and we started this little mini truck class.
Okay.
And but like the sprint car champion, I mean, I know some of these other bigger tracks do more as far as back there, but the sprint car champion here gets $4,000 plus a brand new chassis kit.
Okay.
And second place, you know, I think it's $3,000, a brand new winner's rear end, and so on. And then SCCT, you know, it's a 17 race series, and the points fund is $60,000. It's $10,000 to win the points championship in SCCT. So, like Andy Forsberg, we did a little bonus thing. If you win SCCT in Placerville in the same year, you get a you get a $6,000 bonus. So you get $20,000 in money, and you get a brand new chassis kit if you win both in the same year. And Andy Forsberg's done it twice.
He's liking that promotion.
Andy. Oh.
Yeah.
Andy was a lot of fun on the show too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a true historian of this sport, you know.
Yeah.
Even with his age.
So the Sprint Car Tour Challenge Tour. Tell us about that. What is that? We haven't talked about that at all yet.
Yeah, so there was a touring series out here. It was called the Civil War Series. And Andy Forsberg, you know, he has a bunch of championships in that too. But the thing was kind of dying. And that's when Cammy and I became promoters. And, you know, trying to work with them, and just stuff wasn't lining up, and people were frustrated, and, you know, racers weren't getting paid, and the thing was just really dying. So I offered to buy it from them and, you know, take it over and we run it. And, you know, they really didn't want to do that. And the number they threw out to buy it was not even close to what the thing was worth. And so, you know, we got some sponsorship behind our vision and our idea. And so we started our own series. And that was we call it SCCT, but it's the Sprint Car Challenge Tour. And, you know, we had some different people involved helping us get it started. And, you know, finally got some tracks on board. We supplemented some of the stuff we do in the purse, you know, for what we were paying to, you know, have these races, and what we were paying back to the racers. And, you know, the one thing I could say is that, you know, I didn't cost the racer anymore to go racing, and I didn't cost the tracks anymore to hold the race, but the racers were racing for more. And that's what we were able to pull off, and we're still doing to this day. And so that thing, you know, travels around tracks here in California. 2 years ago, we did a speed week up into Oregon, and then had a conversation with John Hager and Kevin Rudine with Skagit, and they asked to tie them into the speed week. So this year here,
Yep.
we did the speed week starting down here and working our way all the way up to Skagit, you know, through Oregon, and went up to the Summer Nationals, and it was $26,000 to win. And they do a great job up there. All the tracks in between, you know, it's I've only done it a couple years now, and this year we had way more cars than what we had the first year, and we're talking about doing it again. But like I said, it's kind of a smaller regional series, and we got a healthy champ fund that's kind of behind it, and you know, go out and have these races and go to other tracks. And that's the thing, is that, like, if I'm not racing here at Placerville, I'm usually somewhere else with the SCCT. So we have a pretty full slate from March on.
Yeah, and that's the SCCT is a 360 show, right?
Yep, it's 360, and like this year, like we were Placerville, Chico, Petaluma, Stockton, Marysville, Merced, went to Tulare, and then, you know, going up north, we did Cottage Grove, Douglas County, Coos Bay, Skagit, Elma, and yeah, we ended up wrapping that deal up last weekend. We got a lot of good young talent out here, as always.
Yep.
That is one of the frustrating things I think out here as promoters and stuff like that. You know, you got, for whatever reason, we get a lot of good talent out here. I mean, you look at, you know, the people that have grown up here and raced here and left. I mean, the latest to be like Corey Day, and then
Yep.
you know, both the Macedo brothers and Buddy Kofoid and, you know, Larson, even Sweet himself, you know.
Yeah.
Brad Sweet, God, I can't speak. Brad Sweet literally lives about 2 minutes from the racetrack here.
Oh, really?
And yeah, that's where his house is. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, we did all these good, you know, racers out here, and they're only here for a short time, and
Yeah.
that's what I feel is going to kind of happen now too. So like the kid that just won the Sprint Car Challenge Tour Championship, that's Austin Wood. He started here at 14. He's 15. He's going to turn 16 in this off season. They're already shopping for a 410 motor, but I have people that have raced here their entire career and have never won a race at Placerville ever, just because the weekly competition here is so stiff.
Yeah.
And you have Buddy Kofoid, you know, got a win his first year here. Kyle Larson got his first win in a sprint car here. Austin Wood got his first win here at 14. And then we just had a kid show up in the middle of the season, Jeff Barnes, just came out of 600s. He showed up here, and this kid was race ready like you could not believe. And I think it was his third race here at Placerville, and he won a feature.
Oh, damn.
Dang.
Better get him on the show, bud.
Yeah,
Write
we
that
better.
name down.
So I'm telling you, it's like the young talent out here between outlaw carts and micros.
Yep.
These kids get in these sprint cars, and I'm telling you, it's like they've been racing. They look like a veteran. Just their racecraft and their choices on the track, and the moves they make, and you can tell their mind's working. They're making mature decisions, even though they're very young. And you know, like I said, we got a lot of good young talent out here that you're going to see on the national stage in the future. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's great for us because we love to watch it all. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's really, you know, I don't know what it is either out there, but I know you got a longer racing season. They got a lot of micro and outlaw carts there. You got that there. You get a bunch of it in the Oklahoma area. You know, you get like here in the Midwest, you get Pennsylvania. Winter shows up and screws up your racing season for 4 or 5 months each time. You know,
Yeah.
so that helps. I ain't saying that's the only reason for it, but I mean that definitely helps. I think.
But I mean, even back in the day, like I ran outlaw cars for 4 years before I climbed in a sprint car, and I was kind of a late bloomer. You know, I was kind of older being in an outlaw cart, but you know, my very first race here at Placerville, I qualified good enough to start on the pole of the heat, and I almost won that thing. I got passed on the last lap coming off turn 4, and that was my very first laps ever in a sprint car. I didn't go and rent a track and test or do anything. I went straight from outlaw carts to that.
Yep.
And it just, I know those cars are small. I mean, trust me, I thank God as soon as I got in a sprint car and felt the car was suspension, getting the crap beat out of me. But
you
yeah,
watched.
I mean,
You watch the GoPro footage on the outlaw carts, and it is not a smooth ride by any means.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
And but just the power to weight ratio in those cars transfers over to, you know, what we do in sprint cars really well.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, quick minute before we're going to hit you up with our rapid fire questions here. But what do we got lined up for next year? We got next year's schedule figured out, or is that still getting worked on?
No, I mean, we're just now kind of starting on that stuff.
Okay.
Our promoters workshop is where we kind of hash a lot of that stuff out. I am going to be going to the WARPA workshop, which is the Pacific Northwest promoters. That is in the middle of, or right after the Hangtown 100. I'll be heading up to that. And then the promoters workshop for most of the Northern California ones is in Reno the first weekend in December. I mean, we go up there with the tentative schedule and we kind of get together and hash out, some of the differences. But all in all, I think we're going to be doing about the same with Placerville Speedway and the SECT. Probably be doing a speed week and all that stuff again. So we're probably going to be sticking pretty close to what we did, this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what you're doing is an amazing job. We've watched a lot of Placerville on the TV. We don't get out there very often.
No.
Yeah.
But it's been a lot of fun to watch.
If you guys ever head out, you're welcome, and just give me a heads up and we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
We hit the lottery or something. We're going to be there, trust me. I did make it to Vegas last year, so I was getting closer.
Well, that whole lottery thing, to hit it, you must first play it.
Yep.
And I don't ever play it, but some of the visions I have for here, I need to hit the lottery to do what I want to do. But
We got a lot of big dreams too, but it's fun to think about.
Yeah.
I buy one ticket a month, maybe if I remember when I'm in some store, but
Yeah.
I don't make a plan on it, but it's always fun to joke about it.
One side question that really probably doesn't affect you too much, but what do you think of NARC with Brad Sweet and Rudine kind of buying it?
well, I mean, obviously, Rudine, I feel, is doing a lot of what he does for the right reasons. The money he's given back to the sport. I don't know if you guys paid attention to what they did at their banquet. Their banquet this year for the 305 class, they gave away 4 brand new engines.
Really?
To some of their competitors. So, what he's been giving back to the sport is huge.
Yep.
In every level. And so, I think that's a good thing. So I think, with him and Brad, I talked to John Hager, when all this transition was happening, and, they were kind of helping Brad, kind of coordinate stuff, because Brad was trying to, finish up this season with high limit and racing for a championship and all that. But they kind of had to get things started. So, between the two of them, they were kind of coordinating stuff. Brad and I had a long phone call last Tuesday, talking about some of their vision and some of their stuff. Still got some details to work out, in my opinion. But, if it's like anything else that, they're doing with High Limit and what Skagit's doing with their program, bringing money to the sport, trying to help people afford more. All I asked Brad was, communication's key, as far as working on a schedule. Jim Allen, I felt, did a great job with NARC and his marketing side of what he did with NARC. He kind of brought that thing back to life because it was struggling there for a little while. And he was great to work with. Him and I were in communication all the time, coordinating schedules, trying to be, not on top of each other all the time with the SECT and the NARC, because we have so many crossover drivers.
Yep.
And so it's important to have that communication and open lines of communication, I should say.
Yep.
And so that's one of the main things I said to Brad is, no matter what we do, just got to keep communicating, and if we all work together, then we all win together.
Yep. You don't want to make the drivers have to pick between the two series on the same night if you don't have to.
Exactly, and the fans.
Yep.
I mean, it's very important that we coordinate all this and be smart about it, and all work together, because it'll be a win-win for all of us. Instead of some of the nights we can't avoid just because the way some of these dates play out.
Yeah.
So there's been years where we've had shows not on top of each other at all, and then there's years where we have one or two. It just is what it is sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
as long as we try to manage most of that, I think it's a good thing.
Yep. Absolutely.
You bet. All right, we got to end it with some rapid fire questions.
We forgot to warn you about this beforehand, but
so
they're not hard.
Great. What am I in for here?
Just
much,
bear
not
with
much.
us. Bear with us.
So, what's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Strawberry.
That's a good one. We got a strawberry twist at the JJ's in Rock Rapids. That's a good one.
It's a cross up between strawberry and cookies and cream.
There
Okay.
you go.
Yeah, nothing wrong with either one of them. You a cat or a dog person?
Dog.
Do you have any hobbies other than working at the track every single minute?
Don't have time for another hobby.
There you go.
Probably don't have time for that either for this, but how about a favorite movie?
I mean, I don't really have a favorite movie. I mean, I don't get much time to watch TV, but I like action movies. You know, just anything with, you know, anything that's kind of intense action that kind of keeps you engaged.
Blow up a bunch of stuff, make exciting car chases.
I mean, whatever.
Yep.
Yep. Do you prefer snow or rain?
Snow.
If you were going to be stranded on an island, what type of music would you have to have along to listen to?
Classic rock.
Oh boy.
Where is your favorite place to go out to eat?
Oh boy. Any good steakhouse. There's a few of them out here, so
Yep.
I like a good ribeye.
Yep,
Can't go
absolutely.
wrong with a steak and some baked potato or some hash browns.
Yep.
How about a favorite holiday?
I would probably have to say Christmas. We do it at our house every year. I cook a prime rib, and the family comes over, and it's a good day.
You
Yep.
eat too much and yep. I get it. In case you haven't figured it out, these rapid fire don't have a lot to do with racing.
How many speeding tickets do you have? See, we ask this normally because of race car drivers, but you were a race car driver,
You
so.
have to ask that right now. I just got one less than a week ago.
Oh man.
Fresh in your mind.
My haul. So our other business is we have wine storage. So we also do grape hauls during harvest, and so they asked me to haul some of the empty bins back because we've been hauling grapes back and forth from Murphy's over to our area. I made probably about 7 or 8 trips. This last trip I did by myself. I had 16 empty bins. Got up at 4:30 in the morning, went to Murphy's, dropped them off. Left Murphy's at 6:30 in the morning, heading back. Got trapped behind a logging truck for a little bit. Finally got around that logging truck, and I kind of let her start to eat a little bit. And come around this corner to the straightaway, and there's a CHP sitting on the shoulder, and clocked me at 78 towing that trailer, and pulled me over and asked if I was in a hurry, and I said, no, just cruise along.
Yep.
So he goes, I'm going to only write you for 10 over, and I'm not going to add the enhancement for the trailer. And I'm like, thank you.
Oh, an
Yeah,
enhancement
good.
for the trailer. I never heard of that, I guess.
No.
Yeah, in California, you can't go over 55 towing a trailer.
Oh. Okay.
So I was doing 78.
He is really nice.
And the speed limit was 55.
Yeah. He didn't like the ticket, but he was awful nice about it.
Yeah, I mean, I had a deck over trailer. I mean, the trailer was empty. It was deck over. It was like a 22-foot deck over trailer.
Oh.
So
Okay.
that's been my first speeding ticket in probably, I don't know, 7, 8 years.
There you
Okay.
go.
So, in the same line as that, what's the fastest you've ever driven down the highway or, say, ridden with somebody going down the highway?
I would say about 110.
Okay. Not too bad then.
Not too crazy.
Nothing crazy.
What's your go-to drink or beverage?
Like alcohol or
Anything.
Both.
I'm a beer guy when it comes to like alcohol, and then soda. I probably drink more iced tea than anything.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Something a little better. Me and Bud, we're stuck on our pop yet. So,
Yeah,
so
I don't do much of that anymore.
okay. So here's our lottery question. If you had all the money in the world, didn't know what to do with it, is there a car, a pickup, a truck, a boat, motorhome? Is there something you want to buy that you just got money to throw away?
There's a couple things. I would like to buy a motorhome and travel the country. And I've always dreamed about like having a house on the water, whether it's the ocean or a lake.
There you
Okay.
go.
Those are probably my two, big wants that you kind of dream about and not sure if you're ever going to have them.
Yeah. See, if it was me, I'd want to be on the lake,
Yep.
over the ocean.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Yeah, like Lake Tahoe, if you ever come out here, Lake Tahoe is beautiful, and if I was to have a house on a lake, it would be there.
there you go.
How far is that from you?
An hour.
Oh,
That ain't
that's
so bad.
awesome.
So
That's
what-
awesome.
This is the best way to explain it to people too. Where we live in the foothills, we can be skiing in an hour, snow skiing, and then 2 hours the other direction you could be on a beach.
Yeah, well, we don't have that option in Iowa.
All on the same day.
Oh, that's
Now
awesome.
we can have snow in the morning and it can be 60 degrees in the afternoon, so we get the variety of it, but we don't have to travel for it.
No, not at all.
You can be in Lake Tahoe in an hour, and then you could be in Bodega Bay in 2.
Oh, dang. That sounds all right.
Yeah. It's making California sound a little better to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
The politics will keep you from here.
Yep, you got that right. No more COVID, I tell you that.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll leave that for somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott, this has been really fun for us. It's kind of what I was hoping for.
Yep.
And we just really appreciate your last hour that you've been talking with us.
Yeah, no problem. You guys ever want to call and talk about any other subjects, I'm available, and I appreciate you guys reaching out. And hopefully I can get back there someday and check some of the tracks out back there. I've never really been out there. We went to our first Knoxville Nationals, not this year, but last year. That's the very first time I've been able to go out and do that, because either I've been racing or running a racetrack. So
Yep.
it would be neat to get out there and see some of that stuff.
You bet.
Well,
Come to Houston during the high banks.
you got Bud's number.
Yeah.
So, all right. Again, thank you, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Bye-bye.
I am getting hungry.
The food talk was getting bad.